Hey Becky, I want to reply to this question here. Obviously, everyone is completely different, so, you know, this is my personal experience, but everyone can be different in what they experience. But you wanted me to talk about the floppy lungs, respiratory problems with EDS. For me personally, I don't have, like, I can get problems day to day, but they're very kind of mild problems, I say. It's more when my body's affected in another way by like an infection or put under stress in another way that then it can affect my lungs. For instance, the thing we learned about it years and years ago was when I'd have bits of sedation, years and years ago when I was younger, much younger, and my body couldn't cope with a bit of sedation because it would start to, basically my lungs would obviously, you know, your respiratory rate slows a little bit, but your body compensates for that. And you're still breathing by yourself. That's the difference between, you know, when we're put to sleep on the scale of, if you think of the scale of general anaesthetic is when you're fully intubated. You can have sedation, and you can, you know, if you go to have your teeth done and you don't remember any of it, but you weren't intubated, the breathing wasn't taken over, you were breathing by yourself and still managing your own airway, but you don't remember any of it because you had sedation and the amnesia drugs, etc. Also, I hope this makes some sense because I forget that my medical knowledge is a lot more than most people's. But yes, but when I used to have sedation, my body basically would, I scared them quite a bit because my body would basically go slower and slower and slower. The lungs would slow down and then they just stop, and I would stop breathing, and they'd have to take over, suddenly do an RSI, rapid sequence intubation. That happened quite a few times now. They've learnt their lesson now, years ago, not to do that. So yeah, that's why anaesthetic is quite complicated for me, because my lungs just seem to go floppy, as they called it, and the floppiness means that they with sedation, when the respiratory level's going down, the breathing just stops. The lungs can't seem to hold themselves up. That's not really a medical term, so don't quote, that's not a medical term, that isn't. And then also, when I get simple infections anywhere, that just causes my breathing to struggle as well, and I get very short of breath, and difficulty on exertion, and then when I've had COVID, I had blood clot and throwing up blood, and I was in hospital, and I had pleural effusion. Also, I had reduced air entry on one side, again because the infection just really like messed with my lungs, as COVID does, and we know that. But I'm lucky that it doesn't, you know, I can manage, you know, day to day. I don't need oxygen day to day, you know, I can cope. But when my body's, like I said, is under more stress and strain, and like the Addison crisis, then that gets affected as well, then my body struggles. And like I said, especially with anaesthetic and anything that slows respiratory rate down, sorry, Charlie's doing hoovering. That makes it, that makes it more difficult, and the lungs just seem to just go, and just, yeah. And I remember one, I was having a catheter change. I had a big reaction, and like swelling like down there, and all around the catheter. It was when I was allergic to latex. We found I was allergic to latex one of the times, and I was reacting to the latex catheter inside of me urethally. Yep. And anyway, they had to they were doing sedation, put me to sleep, to change it, and they said it's only a 5-minute procedure, you know, I'm not going to like do it as a general anaesthetic, you know, I'll just give you a bit of sedation, it'll be fine, not going to intubate you. I said, be careful my breathing. No, I know what I'm doing. Yes, they're very quite a cocky male older doctor, which obviously you can be lovely and older doctor, male older doctor, but this doctor was quite, yeah, it's set in his own ways. Anyway, he did like a young girl telling him what to do. But anyway, I said, okay. And then I came out of theatre, it took quite a number of hours, and then he was like, okay, yeah, you were right. And he did apologise, to be fair to him, and said, no, you were right, I've never seen that before. Within a few minutes, you were going down and down, you stopped breathing, we had to intubate. And I was like, yeah, I did tell you, I know it's only 5 minutes, but my lungs can't do that. Anyway, you're not the only one. I don't know how your symptoms affect you, but I hope you know that you're not the only one, you're not on your own. And, you know, it's really good to have all the different teams involved working together, because then something like a simple operation, you've got respiratory, immunology, you've got endocrinology. Well, for me, you know, gastro, you know, so you have all different teams working together. Because the hardest thing is when you're working all individually teams, which is fantastic when you're seeing appointments, but then when you need to have them come together, it can be really difficult. But yeah, hope you know that you're not the only one. And yeah, floppy lungs, woohoo! Oh, EDS, gift that keeps on giving, right?